Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at tier 11 of the Dread Pit and how you can take it on. If you need more information, you're welcome to watch my tier 8 video. In this one I'm going to strictly be focusing on tips and tricks to get through tier 11. Now I'm a 645 Demon Hunter Vengeance spec. I am pretty geared for this. Tanks also have a much easier time. This dungeon in particular I think is going to cause a couple problems. Mainly I think for spellcasters due to the respawning webs and the balancing of a lot of CC. So make sure you have quite a few different variants of interrupts. The mob density is not great and the pathing can cause some issues. My Brann, I've gone with Pocket Factory and 3-dimensional printer. Not really a specific reason for this, but I just wanted to try out the different curios. Now in terms of environmental hazards, the huge one that you need to kind of deal with in this is the webs. Now the webs spawn from these little eggs and hitting the eggs will disable them. It's pretty simple like that. You don't need a lot of damage to do so either. So what you generally want to do is you want to disable the webs should you need to get an objective or something, but you're going to want to mainly focus on pulling mobs and enemy packs outside of webs. The reason for this is because the webs respawn, so fighting on top of the webs, especially as a melee class, is going to be a lot more of a hindrance for you. If you're using tank Brann and you're a range class, things are a bit easier. So I will say from the web aspect, it's a lot easier being a range class, but there are certain classes here that are going to give you problems if you don't have enough CC or certain mobs. Now the mobs are pretty straightforward. You can avoid the Nerubian Lords a lot of the times. Should you pull them, they're not too tricky to handle. They are relatively tanky, but they mainly have a bunch of annoying AoE spells that you have to move out the way. Avoid their conal attack, avoid the circles that they spawn, but there's nothing too wild here. In fact, pulling them is not even that big a deal unless you're surrounded by a huge pack. Your big issue is going to be the packs that have different mobs that you have to focus on. For example, in this one, we have a Nerubian Threadmancer who we have to line of sight or silence. Generally, it's silence because line of sight in this variation, the Dread Pit, is very hard to do. And also we have to focus kill the slashers as they have a stacking bleed attack that will cause you big damage. You also need to be careful of fearmongers, the little worms you find on the ground, as those fearmongers can do a fear in a circle that you will need to avoid. But the big one is going to be charges. Charges are very annoying because of two reasons. One, they are difficult to spot within packs of big mobs should you pull them, and they will basically run at you, causing you to be pushed back as well as take quite a sizable chunk of damage. So if you're not watching where they're going to run to, it can cause you a lot of problems. Darkcasters need to be interrupted or line of sighted, and the big one is going to be that there are mobs that spawn webs. So keeping track of your webs, making sure that you are staying off of them is really the big task here. As long as you can conquer that, most times you're going to conquer most of the delves here, or at least runs of this delve. The goblin mobs aren't too bad. A lot of them are avoidable if you don't want to get them. However, I will say that taking out the goblin mobs is usually actually a shortcut for most of the objectives. So for me, I found that taking them out a lot of the times was actually just easier than dealing with all the Nerubian packs that I would have taken along another path. But, that's just me. Now, in terms of the final boss, Underlord Vicus, Underlord Vicus has 3 moves you need to really worry about. He has a large conal move called Rupture that you will need to avoid. This one is fairly simple. It has a little bit of a delay on it, so getting out the way is not too bad. The big one is Burrow. Burrow is very annoying, and it can cause you a lot of problems depending on whether you fight him at the end or beginning of the delve. Now, it's a very annoying situation because a lot of the times it will cause big damage to you. Stinging Swarm is also one that you can't really avoid. It does AoE damage, so you do need to pop CDs or heals during that time period. And wherever you're fighting him, you need to be aware of the web respawns. You do not want to fight him and a random Nerubian ad that spawns if you stand on the webs too long. But that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you need any more tips and tricks, and watch my tier 8 guide if you need some more information. But that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.